Hello everyone and welcome to Gardening with Ben. We're now in October, the season of Halloween for those that celebrate it, and the season of autumn, and the season when the leaves start dropping from the trees. And I absolutely love October, hence it's my birthday on the 23rd of October. Make a note in your diaries, everybody, to send your wishes and your cards to me. Only joking. But yeah, it's the season of my birthday. I'll be 36, I believe. So yeah, October. It's a time when things start slowing down in growing. That's if you're in the UK, and things will start dying off. And it's a time of preparation for the year ahead. What's coming next year. You can still grow a lot of stuff in the allotments through autumn and winter, and that'll be in tomorrow's episode, so make sure you come back to that one. We're dropping quite a lot of episodes at the moment, so I hope you're enjoying all these episodes that we're dropping, and obviously the figures are showing that people are listening to it, so thanks for those that do listen. And if you're new, please do click that subscribe button. If you could see me, I pretend I'm pressing the subscribe button. So if you're new, please do subscribe, and if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, and you'll get notified as soon as new episodes are launched. So there is still a lot to be doing in the garden and the allotment, and like I said, it's about preparing for the year ahead. So in this episode we're going to be talking about all the jobs what need doing in the garden this month. We do this on a monthly basis, so you can always check back on last month's jobs, make sure you've done everything that you needed to be doing in the garden and in the allotment. So we'll go through the vegetable jobs, the fruit garden jobs, and the flower garden jobs. So make sure you've got a pen and paper, or feel free to listen back to the episode if you're unsure, and make sure you get all these jobs checked off. So asparagus, this can be cut back now. If you've got any growing on it, cut it back. Cut the stems back to about 6 centimetres tall, ready for next year. Beans, if you've got any beans growing, runner beans, make sure you harvest all the beans off them this month and cut the plants back off to the base and leave the roots in the ground. The reason why you leave the roots in the ground is like peas, you're adding the nitrogen back into the soil, and it will help form goodness in the soil. So don't pull them out of the ground. I always used to pull them out of the ground, but don't just cut them off at the base and let the nitrogen go back into the soil. Cauliflowers, if you're growing cauliflowers, protect them from the winter frosts and the cold. You cover them with a cloth, and this will protect them from those winter frosts. So again, if you're growing any peas, harvest the last of your peas this month, and also cut them off at the base as well to get the nitrogen back into the soils. Pepper plants, if you're growing any peppers, take off any ripe peppers this month. If you've got any unripe peppers, what you can do is hang the plants upside down in the greenhouse. Take them out of the pots, take them out of the grow bags, hang the plants upside down in the greenhouse to ripen. Pumpkins. Now if you're growing pumpkins for Halloween, or if you're growing them to eat, it's now time to start harvesting them. If you harvested them, you need to pick them before the first frost, because the frosts will rot the pumpkins. So make sure you harvest them way before the frosts and store them in a dry place until Halloween or when you're ready to eat them. So if you're growing any tomato plants as well, take off any ripe tomatoes that are ready. Any that aren't ready, leave on the plant. You can hang the plant upside down again like the pepper plants, and this will help ripen them. Obviously take them out of the pots or out of the grow bags, but hang them upside down in the greenhouse to help ripen them up. and if not, you can always try making green tomato chutney, which is apparently delicious. I've never tried it myself, but apparently it's delicious. So that is all the jobs what you need to do in the vegetable garden. So let's find out what we need to do in the fruit garden this month. So in the fruit garden, what you need to be doing this month is apples. What you need to do is pick the rest of your apples this month. If they're ready to pick, you will know this because you'll be able to put your hand under them and they'll come off nice and easy in your hand. If they don't come off nice and easy in your hand, do not pick them. You shouldn't have to tug them off to know that they're ready. Also on your apple trees, what you need to do is put a grease band around the trunks of your apple trees. You can do this on all your fruit trees. This will prevent winter moths because the caterpillars will eat all the spring flowers. So put a grease band around your fruit trees to stop winter moths. If you've got a fruit cage, take off any netting this month because if it snows, you don't want the snow damaging your netting, so take it all off this month and you can put it back on in spring once the weather brightens up. Fruit trees, again for your fruit trees, paint on a winter wash on the trunks on all your fruit trees. This will stop winter pests from hiding in the trees. Raspberries, if you're growing autumn raspberries, these can be cut back down to the ground now. If you're growing summer raspberries, only prune back the canes which had the fruit on them. All the new canes will grow fruit on them next year, so don't prune them this month. Rhubarb, if you're wanting to split your rhubarb plants, it's now time to do it. So you can dig them up, divide them and put the healthiest pieces back in the ground, but replant them straight away and make sure you water them in well. Strawberry plants, now is the time to plant any new strawberry plant runners or new plants. This will give them a head start in growing them delicious strawberries ready for next year. So that is all the jobs what need doing in the fruit garden. So what do we need to do in the flower garden this month? If you're growing begonias, you can lift the tubers up this month and store them in a dry shed until next year. Dahlias, again, you can lift the tubers up for the dahlias and store them in a dry shed and then plant them next year. If you're in warmer climates, some people do leave them in the ground ready for next year, but if it's quite cold where you are, make sure you dig them up and store them in a shed. People store them in sand, I think it is. Gladioli, cut back gladioli to the ground, and again you can either leave them in the ground. I left mine in the ground and they grew back really well this year, or you can dig them up and dry them ready for next year. Hedges, if you're wanting to grow a hedge, now is the perfect time to be growing it and planting it, as the wet weather will help it take root and grow well. Perennials, cut back any old foliage on your perennial plants this month. Roses, you can prune back your roses this month for winter. Clear away any old leaves what are around, any that's got black spot on it and stuff like that. Clearing the leaves away can prevent diseases from coming back next year. So that is all the jobs what need doing in the flower garden. Again, there's a lot of jobs there to be done, but if you create yourself a little tick list like I do and tick off once you've done all these jobs, you'll be ahead of the game, ready for next year. So I hope you found this useful. Remember to click subscribe to these podcasts. I know people do enjoy them, as they do tell me that. Feel free to send me a message to say you've listened to it and enjoyed it. Feel free to share it on your Instagram stories so that we'll get more people listening to them. So yeah, as always, thank you for listening, and remember, keep gardening.